Hey, morning, Uncle. How you doing? Nice, nice. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. You catch any moves at all? Morning, Hassan. Nice. Listen, plus 20 is better than minus 20. Morning, DV. You're at AUD, yes. I'm like, I'm in this trade. This was on the weekly watch list. I caught the gold 1993 to 2000. The first push up or the second one, Hassan? I'm in this from yesterday as well. AUD USD. I kind of took 70% off the table here, and I still have the rest kind of running. Second one, yeah. I to be fair missed the second one. I had a bit of a late night yesterday, so I got up in the morning pre-London, saw this, took this, and then I knew like if there's a retracement, there's still an opportunity to trade this because. Again, like if anyone goes back to the yesterday VOD, what we had said was yesterday we had saw this major sell-off. So on the hourly chart, my expectation was right. Okay, if price is gonna cause a major reversal back up here, where's it gonna come from? The likelihood is it's gonna come from this low here, which again is the 4-hour low. It's the 2-hour low, it's the 1-hour low. We already had a change of character here on the 4 hours, you can see. So you can see the last pullback was here, there was the new high. Here we broke the 4-hour, so we can expect a pullback at some point. But on a lower time frame, like you can see the hourly price is creating some nice structure. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. I was expecting price to come into here for then price to then roll over. So going down on the 15-minute, so we kind of said yesterday, if price kind of gets back into these regions, there's potential shorting opportunity here. So what I was kind of looking at and saying is, right, okay, I know there's upside till this point because we have like imbalance here, inefficiency here, and supply sits in between our fib confluence here. So when I saw this, I was like, right, okay, what can I see? So now if I go down to a 5-minute chart, you can see here, at this point there was obviously no trade opportunity because price was just like in one direction. But here you could see we had this retracement and then we started to push up. We had this consolidation with a build up of liquidity. And then you could see here during Asian session, we originally sweep the liquidity to the low and then we sweep the liquidity to the high. Now, if I mark the swing low of this move, which is this point, to the swing high, you can perfectly see price closed within our fib confluence. So the pullback at this point was complete. Price started to push off to the upside. Now I know there's still upside potential here. Wow, look at that big push. And this is why you don't put limit orders in. You know, you wait for price. So price then tapped into this area, and then when I saw it this morning, I was up at like, what time did I take this trade? At like 6:30. So I kind of got up a little bit early today. My eye just opened while price is just blasting through. So when price came into here, I could see in the lower time frame. So I know at this point the pullback is complete off of this swing leg. Now we're expecting a push up. So really my trade entry should have been down over here. You know, because you can see there's the fib, price taps in, we get rejection. I should have really entered over here and had my stops below here for like 13 pips and target the high. But by the time I saw it, it was slightly late. So when I got in, I actually got in over here. I don't know why it's showing it there. So I actually got in as this candle was pushing up, because I saw this minor demand created, and I've already seen price push up from here. So we've had this push up from the original swing move. There's the retracement. So now I'm expecting price to continue higher, take this out and come into here. So where was I trading to? I was trading to this area of supply. Again, it's within this region. Now, this is the extreme supply. But I was looking to take the trade to there, and then you can see price reacted from that supply. And, you know, you caught this, which was perfect. You know, that should have been a nice re-entry for anyone, because what do we have here now? You know, we have a breaker structure here to the upside. There's our low, there's our high. So if you mark your fib from the low to the high, you could perfectly see there is the level of demand. That's unmitigated. Price comes in, rejection to the upside, rejection to the upside. Now, realistically, the trade should have been like there. At the close of that, put your stops below there and then target there. And that would have been a phenomenal 95 pip trade for a 1 to 7.5. So there was a re-entry opportunity pretty perfectly. But again, how can we trade these moves with confidence? The only way we could trade these moves with confidence is to have the ability to understand where price is going and why it's headed towards it. If you don't understand that, and you don't have that mechanical approach when it comes to the markets, you're not really going to know why price is doing what it's doing, or why it should do it, why it should do what it should do. You know, you're still just sitting there fearful, thinking, oh, can I take this trade, can I not, where's it going? But you can see perfectly, without even having to worry about anything else, within this morning there was 2 perfect trading opportunities on gold. Now that's where the patient comes in. I'm not sitting there thinking, right, oh, there was a level of demand here, shit, I didn't catch this. Yeah, I didn't catch this, but it doesn't matter, because there was no trading setup here for me to catch. You know, what am I really going to catch? In order for me to have caught anything, I had all of these areas as internal breaks of structure. So I would have really liked to see a break above and a retest for me to get involved. Price never gave us that. Price just continued going. So, you know, at what point did it give us a trade opportunity? It gave us a trade opportunity at this point. You know, so now gold's in a pretty nice area. Yeah, absolutely. But it's like understanding that right now, for example, where price is now, if you don't have a wider understanding of market structure, if price comes back over here from this point, am I taking a continuation buy from this demand? No. You know, price might continue higher. I can't predict what the market's going to do, you know, but I can have a decent stab at it to think, right, okay, what's the likelihood? And the likelihood from higher time frame is we had the breaker structure here when we had this pullback. Now this is a key area for price to continue doing the same thing. News today at 1:30. Yeah, there is news today. Now, Euro AUD, again, if no one caught this, then you didn't catch it. It kind of is what it is. But you can see Euro AUD on the weekly watch list. It was that's exactly what I had said. Go back to Euro AUD if you watch it. This is our 4-hour swing structure, as you can see. The last 4-hour push up. So this is where we get the last retracement. Here's our push up. Now, in order to trade the 4-hour pullback, we want to see some internal structure shift, and we got that here. So we got that here, change of character. Price pulled back perfectly into area of supply. Then we had the internal breaker structure. So where's price overall headed? Potentially down to here, but where's our next level of demand? Our next level of demand sits over here. So, likely we're headed towards here. But when we had this breaker structure, what we're waiting for? We're waiting for that retracement again. There's our high, there's our low. You can see price then is pulling back. At this point, you can see it's a build up of liquidity above these highs, because we don't yet mitigate our fib zone. Yes, we mitigate this hourly supply, but we haven't come in and tapped into this. You can see I refined that indecision candle, and we had some imbalance still resting above here. So we had liquidity resting here above these highs, and we had this supply that sits within our fib. So as price mitigates and rejects, as we start to get the second rejection candle, that's where I'm in. So it's just the same rinse and repeat. Now, I'm just watching this area. If we get a closure below this demand zone, perfect. I'll let it run. But if price starts to reverse, I'll just take some take some partials off the table, because price could come deeper if it wants, and that's fine. But again, it goes back to the same thing: patience, waiting. Now, retest that area. The way it's selling off is likely to retest, but again, you don't need to. If price breaks this and price pulls back, then you could re-enter, absolutely. But if price doesn't break this, then I would just be hesitant on re-entering. But with the way the momentum is and how volume, you could clearly see there's selling pressure in the market. Once we break this, I'll just tighten my stops just above this swing high. This is playing out nicely as well. I'll go over this in a second as well. This has been a good day. This is how we kill the markets, guys. Daily. You want EJ, right? Let's go over EJ. EJ, there's nothing in EJ, in all fairness, for me. Like, you look at EJ, look on the daily chart, price is looking to take out the previous daily high. There's the high, there's the low, we're just working our way up to it. Now all I would probably say is, this is quite a strong area of so-called resistance. I don't trade support and resistance, but we could see this could be a good area for price to pull back, potentially here, before it creates its next push to the upside on the daily. So this is a potential key area for price to push down from. So if we get that, where if we get that, then fine. But as it stands, EJ just, there's nothing. You know, look at it. It's just horrible price action. We're still in an uptrend. So here is our 4-hour swing. On the hourly, you can perfectly see higher highs and higher lows are being printed. So as it stands, you know, this is our low point. That's our high point. This pullback is pretty irrelevant because price has failed to break above this high. You know, there's the area of supply. The only thing I would say is if price rejects this area of supply, you know, we could come all the way down to here before doing this again and breaking above. So as it stands, there's nothing on EJ. EJ is probably one of those. You just want to wait to see some structural breaks. You know, I wouldn't be looking to buy this as a continuation because I think it's overextended and it's due a pullback. But in the same breath, I wouldn't be looking to short it here until we get some structural shift. And I think if we get some structural shift, we could see a nice pullback on this huge swing move that we've had up. You know, what is this? It's like 500 plus pips on this. So we could probably expect, this gold just bouncing around in this area. So we could probably expect some sort of downside from here with it being an area of resistance. On the monthly chart, yeah, you can see it's already tapped it there and then it's come down. Now, you know, there's the monthly area of supply, which is this candle here. And we're within that 50% of the monthly zone. Like you could see us, in my opinion, I still feel this upside. Let me go back down to the daily. Let me just shift this and settings, visibility, monthly as well. Right, okay, let's go back to the monthly. So you can see there's a daily and a weekly area of supply that rests here. Now we're in this monthly supply zone, but you can see price has tapped into it a few times. You know, we just refined that monthly supply zone to here. It was this. Now we tapped into it once, and that's where we got the original daily pullback, weekly pullback, and then price found its bottom and then started to push up. So you can see this weekly candle is breaking above this. So that monthly supply zone has been mitigated, and this monthly fib, this is just the base of it. That's the top of the fib where we have this next area of supply, and that's the, look at that area of supply. We had a huge sell-off from here. So my expectation from here, you know, is probably that we could continue seeing upside before we do this on a weekly, and that just reflects into the daily. But again, we are in a daily area of so-called resistance and still within that monthly supply. So can this be a good point for price to have a pullback? Yeah, it can. You know, we've got demand resting here on a daily, so we could see that. So I would just like to see some selling pressure here, but we are in some key areas of pullback zones. Right, guys. Any other? What else? Let's have a look at some other pairs. So yeah, Euro, AUD USD, right? So what was the thought process behind this trade on AUD USD? You can see price came back to my entry, pushed up, retested it again. So let's look at AUD USD. So AUD USD on the hourly chart, we had this big push to the upside. We tapped into this area of supply, and then we start to sell off. So as we start to sell off, we had this huge flush to the downside here. So we're pretty close to our fib area. So price could start continuing to push up from here, or what we could do is do something like this, and then come down and continue this pullback, bearish pullback into this zone, and then shift. So I could see this area of supply over here on the hourly that was not mitigated yet. And then if we go down to the 15-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, we could see we were forming some structure. So as we come down, we create this pullback, break a structure, pullback, break a structure, then boom, we had this big change of character. So as we had this big change of character, what's that telling me? That's telling me we've entered a pullback off of this big move to the downside. Now, I looked at this low to the high. So you can see price perfectly on a 15-minute chart, came in, rejected, and that's where I took my entry. Now, why did I take partials here? Well, close 70% here, because just in case price decided to reverse, this is the area where we're going to get a pullback in. So I'm like, right, if price comes up to here, I'll take some profits. Now, price just reacted to this. When we sold off here, we never took out this low. So the confidence of continuation to the upside was pretty high. So I closed here, and then you can see price came back. I just marked the fib out. Price came back, you know, bounced around in this area. We had a push up, reaction to supply. We came back and retested, and now we're starting to push back off to the upside again. And that's what you just got to have, you know, confidence in your trades and your trading ability. Now gold's in that key area, you know, but you don't just want to short into this yet. You know, you probably at least want to wait for price to come down, test demand, for demand to fail and fail to break above, and then start to look at potential shorts. But even that's like a bit of an aggressive entry. You know, the safer entry is always going to be a break of this and a pullback, but we are in a key area. You know, I would like to enter, me personally, we have this minor level of demand where we had this push up, so I would like to see price either break this and pull back, or price come down and react to this minor level of demand, as you can see here, and then give us a pullback. What do we expect this demand to do? You'd expect demand to push price higher, but if demand fails, then we're already in that reversal point. Weakness has come into the market because demand is failing, and then we can look for overall continuations, shorts to the downside. Your AUD's looking nice as well. Man, today's been a good day. So what did I catch here? Caught 77 pips here on gold. So far I'm up 44 pips on Euro AUD. AUD USD, I closed 70% of my position yesterday at 37 pips, so it's 77 gold. Euro AUD was what? 44 pips. It's 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, that's 120. And then this was like 37, so 150, so 158 pips so far. You catch anything, DV? Have you got it all set up? Come on, look at this AUD USD. Let's go. Let's take out this. It's probably going to react to this area of supply here. Let's take out this liquidity that's built up here. Let's fill out this imbalance and let's mitigate this. Yes, we're breaking here as well. If this Euro AUD trade breaks here, there's good potential for this. I think next week's going to be a good week for JPY pairs to short, because they're all approaching like significant areas and they've all been like on like pretty huge rallies. Come on, AUD USD, let's go. Yeah, it looks like it. Clearly people want to go sit and get education from people that don't trade shit, don't do shit. I'm not really bothered, to be fair. Got multiple trades here. Happy days. Now again, you look at all this. This is perfect from the weekly watch list. some of the. See, like I'm currently not looking at any like GU and EU. They're just like pretty much sideways. Yes, Euro AUD breaking nicely. AUD USD pushing up nicely. Gold just messing about in that range. TV, you around? Hi guys, let me know if there's any pairs you want me to have a look at, anyone that's joining. So currently in Euro AUD and AUD USD. Look what I sent you on your Discord. So this is somebody, when I first started, you know, I paid and watched their, did their smart money concept trading, bought their course. This is going back a while ago now. And he gives out like trades and stuff during the week. Now this trade that I shared with you is Euro AUD. It's Euro AUD longs he's got from this morning. So he's looking to buy based on taking price higher, and look what our weekly analysis was. You know, he based that off of today's price action. We analyzed this in last week's weekly watch list. So I want to see. Let's go. Euro AUD is perfect. Moving my stops tighter. Take more risk off the table. AUD USD is flying. Let's go. And this person, right, who I've told you, I'm not going to mention names and stuff. It's a paid Discord, so you have to buy the course and then you get the Discord access with it. And he does some decent callouts. I'm not saying he doesn't. Education's pretty okay, but it's pretty cookie cutter, straight to the point, smart money concept, typical trading. You know, it's not how we perceive and read market structure. And he has, like, I'll tell you, probably like 1,400 plus members in his Discord. And remember, everyone's paid. So you imagine how much money he's making from that. Insane. Let's go. 64 pips up on Euro AUD. Now I'm just going to take some off the table because we're at like 60% into where we want to be, and the potential reversal point for this, if it did, just to bear that in mind, would kind of be this region. So I'll look at scaling some out soon. We are flying. Look at this. Where was price? So weekly watch list was done on what day? It was on Saturday the 15th, right? No, what day? Like 20. Yeah, Saturday the 15th. So let's go to the hourly chart. So where were we? So the weekly watch list was done when price was here. Actually, it's ahead. When did we have this sell-off? Tuesday the 18th, on the 20th. Yeah, so we were like here, and that was the prediction. That if we can get a break and then a retest, boom. Gold shorts, yeah, just I said gold shorts. We kind of want to wait, like it is in a key area, but I at least want to see minor demand break and then kind of or price react to demand and fail to break above before any entry. I'm not overly concerned. I know we have some news coming up in a couple of hours, in about an hour or so. I kind of caught this, so pretty happy with that. See what it is. I am still in this AUD USD, and I'm in this Euro AUD trade, Ryan. I bet you're glad, Ryan. You know, what was our analysis? What did I say where price can potentially reverse from yesterday? And I still have my runner running for like 30% here. You can see, look at that. Perfect. Now the last hurdle is we have a minor area of supply here, which you probably see a reaction from. Something like this, or we might just break through. Already depends. And Euro AUD just played out absolutely to the T. You know, again, and this is what I was saying earlier, it's key. You can see we got build up of liquidity here. At this point, we never tapped into our fib area, and we never mitigated. So I'd refine this level of supply, and you could see this indecision candle on the 30-minute where we got here. So we never mitigated this yet. So you could see we created highs, and then you could see price reacted to this pullback. Now if I mark the low of this move to the high, price just tapped into that and started to push higher. So it's only today when price tapped into it, saw rejection, and then saw this, and I was entering, you know, because again, like I don't need to wait for anything else. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But my hurdle was, I said, if price fails to break above this level of demand, below this level of demand, then I'll just take partials and then just, you know, tighten my stops, because my stops were originally above here for 23 pips. Now I've kind of just tightened them down, and I've taken some profits off. Again, it was a patience game, waiting for price to mitigate a level. Now if it had gone off without tapping into this, then it would have gone off. There's nothing I can do about that. Right, what other pairs do we have? CAD JPY. So CAD JPY, let's see, CAD JPY. Let's go, just like messing around here. So we had a nice shift on CAD JPY here, tapped into this area of supply. Right now I would be saying price is just pulling back off of this move back down into this region here, but it's pretty messy. You know, we've not had any retracement. We had this break and then price is just kind of rolling over. So unless we get something, you know, price reacted to this 1 hour area of supply, you know, which is probably the trade entry in all fairness, because price above here was pretty efficient. But yeah, nothing as it stands. If we get a retracement for continuation shorts, it'll look good. Euro AUD, we've already discussed that. Euro USD, there's nothing in it for me as it stands. I just, you know, personally, we had this internal breaker structure on the 15-minute swing. We had this pullback. We came in, so this is still the high. This is still the low. We're in this internal range. I feel like we have liquidity here. We have this unmitigated area of supply that sits at the top of this swing structure that pushed to the downside. So in my humble opinion, nice anchor. So in my opinion, I think personally, I'm looking for, I'm just going to delete these because it's pretty irrelevant now to this swing up. I'm personally looking for price to potentially head back into here to short down into this region down here. Until that happens, I'm not really interested because it's in like a middle of a range, and there's nothing for me to trade with that. I don't really need to get involved with this. Like there's nothing. Like we've reacted to demand. We've come up to supply. Now we're just sideways, and this is just all internal. So you know, what am I gonna get involved with? Nothing. It's just like it's in the middle. And same thing with GU. GU is a similar scenario where GU is more upside potential because we've had that change of character back to the top side. But again, you can see this push up never broke above this previous high, so it's pretty irrelevant, and all of this is pretty internal for me. So if price comes down to this demand and pushes off, then it is what it is. I really want to see price pulling back down to this, to the low here, you know, to this fib level. It still aligns pretty perfectly. So it's again, it's a game of patience. This could act nicely as an area of liquidity, you know, a swing low, induce buyers early into this. I want to see if we can mitigate this, then buyers are a good call, at least back up into this area of supply, which is the higher time frame pullback. Gold rejecting from here, but again, like I said, you want to probably see at least a break of this minor support, not support, sorry, demand zone. So that's GU. Let's see what GJ's doing. So GJ is just horrible price action. You know, we still have this massive high. There's nothing in it for me until we don't break this demand. At least we are in, if we go to daily, we are in this daily supply. We had supply here and we have a minor level of supply here. So again, this supply could act as a level for pullback. So if we look at the current daily swing, we have this perfect demand sitting here. Let's go down to the 4 hour. We have demand here. We have some liquidity resting below these lows. So this area could act as a nice area for a pullback after we broke the 4 hour swing structure, to then continue the next push to the upside, to head up towards our fib area from a weekly swing perspective, and the daily still bullish. So this could act as a good area for that, but we cannot preempt or predict that until price doesn't break below this, because remember, this is the zone on the daily. So price might come to the 50% retracement point. Price might go to the highs. You just don't know. So until that point, where are we getting involved in this? We're not. Just stay away. So we've got, now this is sometimes where news just plays its part. So you could see price originally mitigated this, and on the hourly chart we had this change of character. So we came up to these highs, we came up to supply, started to react, but then we had bearish news last night for NZD. We had CPI came in below than expected, so we had this big push to the upside. Obviously CPI came in hot for pound, and it was down for New Zealand dollar, so you saw this big push to the upside. Now, you know, what are we looking at? NZD, we're still in this daily area of supply. You know, now does price break through this? The likelihood is probably, like I always said before, I think price is going to be heading back to the upside on this pair. Now we are at this extreme here, you can see. Now if we refine this down, there's that big candle. I think I'll refine this down to the 4 hour. Yeah, so I just took this last candle here before this push down. So price has come more or less into that 50% zone. But again, you know, what have we done? We had a 4 hour break of structure here. So as it stands, there's nothing in this for us. No trade. Just gonna delete this because that's pretty irrelevant. Delete this as well. You know, so we just have to be patient. There's nothing in it. If anything, you know, we have this level of demand. But why would I not buy at this demand? Because we're in supply. Now, if we weren't in supply, you know, the good trade, to be fair, the missed opportunity trade was over here. Like, looking back at this now, the missed opportunity trade was here. Why? Because when we had this change of character and we came up, mitigated supply, failed to break, started to push to the upside. Now we got a closure above this high, not slightly above this, but you could see momentum kicked in. So there's early indication already that, right, okay, you know, if supply has failed to do its job, we're looking to push higher. And you can see we just mitigated this, but we never really pushed into this zone. Keep calm when I am in a trade and news is on the way. What would you suggest? It really depends, Masio. You know, it really depends. Like, if you're in a trade, I think, you know, being clued on when it comes to fundamentals is pretty important. So having a general overview of the pair that you're looking at, like dollar, for example, you know, overall dollar weakness is about, you know, we know the Fed's is starting to look at tightening their their interest rates. They're stopping. You know, it's probably going to get another another one rate hike for like 0.25 basis points. The weakness is starting to come in for the dollar from a fundamental perspective. So broadly, I'm not really overly concerned about news. But what you do want to look at is if you're in a trade and you're pretty close to like your entry when you're taking a trade, you know, then you probably want to like take partials and move stops to break even, so you're taking risk off the table. If you're quite far away from your entry point, then you should be fine and just like, you know, just move your stops to kind of break even. News, you know, depending on the level of news, if it's like CPI or FOMC, which are like huge market movers, then you want to be a bit more careful. But the other news is just, you're going to see minor reactions in price. You're not going to see like aggressive swings. And typically technical analysis will outplay fundamentals. Like if the dollar is bearish, so if we look at DXY for example, right, if the dollar fundamentally is bearish, then let's look at this area here. So when we had a 4-hour breaker structure, we know what is price doing on the DXY. It's looking to take out this previous swing low, right? Bearish trend, 4-hour breaker structure. Now here's our last push down. There was the breaker structure. We're in a retracement. Boom, we had, this was news, right? This was news that caused price to push up aggressively on the dollar. But that all that happened was volume kicked in, but price still fulfilled its pullback and then continued in its overall direction. And that's what news does. You know, you can see here there was this big bullish rally for the dollar because of what the Fed said, which was a slightly bullish than anticipated. But overall, what we got was price tapped into that key fib area and now it's bouncing around, and the natural course of price is to do this. Now whether it reverses is a different thing, but all news does is really just gives price momentum. And you know, if price is bearish and this bullish news for the dollar, you're probably just going to get that pullback and then a continuation in the overall direction of the trend. So it's just how you feel comfortable managing trades more than anything else, in all fairness. Hopefully that helps. So yeah, GBP NZD, you can see here we literally tapped this. We had that change of character and then price failed to break down. As we saw this big bullish move, demand kicked in, and then a nice buy opportunity would have been valid here. But now where price is, you know, we have demand here. Am I looking to trade this? No, because this is a key area where we could enter a pullback. You know, we could at least enter a pullback on this 4H time frame. But for that, I would need to see now a failure off of this with some sort of retracement to head back down towards at least this previous low to mitigate this inefficiency. And look how much liquidity we have resting below here. Why is this come back? I do not want to see the levels. Okay, gold from here. Probably see a reaction to this level of demand here. So for me, again, like if price fails here, comes back up and it fails, this demand fails, we start seeing some momentum kick in. That could be a catalyst for a push down. So that's GBP NZD, USD JPY. Let's look at USD JPY. So again, USD JPY is in this area of supply. Now it's, what is it? It's in this pullback off of this daily push down that we had. Well, yeah, so if we're looking at this, you could see, let's go to the daily chart. So we had a daily breaker structure here. No, I don't want that. Sorry guys, need to delete some of this. Let me know if there's too much background noise. It's just my gardener doing my lawn. Just gonna close my window. Right, so yeah, if we look at USD JPY, you can see last pullback, breaker structure to the top side. Here, this arrow here is the weekly breaker structure. So once we have a weekly breaker structure, what can we anticipate? We can anticipate a pullback. How are we going to predict that pullback? On the weekly, we're going to see a daily breaker structure to the downside, which is what we see here. We get the daily break. So once we get a daily breaker structure to the downside, what can we anticipate? We can anticipate a daily pullback. Where's that daily pullback going to come from? From an area of weekly or daily demand, which is down here. Here's that weekly level of demand. So now that we can see price in that daily pullback, where was the confirmation that price entered a daily pullback? We saw the 4-hour structure change. So you can see here, this was our daily bearish leg. We got lower lows and lower highs perfectly on the 4-hour. At what point do we shift? We shift when we break above this over here. We had that change of character over here, you know, because all of this was internal price action, because this was the strong high that caused this weak low to break and create a new low. So this was our 4-hour breaker structure, created a new low. Now this was just internal, and then this was the entire push that caused the change of character to the top side. Now look at gold, it's reacting from that demand, as I said. Right, let's go back to USD JPY. So now we see that. Now again, look, I have this area of demand marked down here. Now it doesn't mean when price came here, I'm expecting price. This should just be a prime example for everyone that not every level of supply and demand needs to be mitigated. You know, not every level of supply and demand needs to be mitigated. This will get filled at some point in time. If we're expecting more downside and we know this is just a daily pullback, some point further down the line price will come down here to mitigate this. So we see this as a change of character here. So now after that, what do we see? So if we know we've entered a daily pullback, let's look at the daily swing structure. There's the daily high to the daily low. Look what sits within this nicely. You know, we had this area of supply that was unmitigated, which has been mitigated now. Now, what was the catalyst for a pullback after this change of character? Was an area of supply. Boom. We came back in. So we now have another area of supply here. We have this inefficiency and this area of supply sitting above here. I joined a bit late. Would you mind going over GU if you... Damish, if you just play back the video, I've got GU on there. So you can see we have this area of supply that fits nicely with our fib confluence. That sits nicely with our fib confluence. So overall, the expectation is potentially price to head back up towards this region. Now coming back down to a lower time frame on an intraday basis, I'm actually just going to delete this area of demand for now, just to limit the. So now let's mark this swing low to that swing high, right? So now this is our strong low that causes a change of character, and this is our weak high, right? All of this price action was internal until the point we shifted here, and you could see, so this is the low that caused the change of character. Now you could perfectly see price comes into our area of demand. Now we have this area of it comes into our fib confluence. We have this 4-hour area of demand that price just doesn't tap into, and it starts to push off to the upside. So you could see here the trading opportunity for us to continue buying this would have been in this 4-hour pullback. Where do we get a change of character? We get a change of character here. You know, because this was the strong low sorry, this was the strong high that caused this weak low to break. So we had this big shift. So now we can see if we mark this low to the high, price perfectly comes into this unmitigated area of demand. So we could have continued buying from here to the top side. Now, even if we take both sides of the, pendulum for this, if we look at this, this is the high, this is the pullback, and even if we say price decides to roll over, the likelihood of it rolling over is going to be from this area up here. So from this point, we know there's this continuation upside in this market. Now, we're obviously in an area of supply here. Now, what can we see on that? You know, we can see we got a 4-hour breaker structure here. We can see we've got a 4-hour breaker structure here. We had the change of character over here. So what can we anticipate from this point? We can anticipate a potential pullback that sits nicely to fill out this inefficiency. Now, I'm not saying that is going to happen. The only way we're going to look at that is if we see market structure change. You know, now for now, internally, where's our internal breaks of structure? The last internal break of structure was here. So now what do we need? Let's go Euro AUD. Sorry, let me just check my AUD USD. That's all right as well. So what do we need? Like, it's very tempting to see this and be like, oh, price is failing to break above. Let's just buy this. No, because price could come quite comfortably back down into this region and then continue pushing higher, because this is the low that caused that high to break. So this is the strong low and there's our weak high. So it's marked the low to the high. We have this imbalance, so this could be a nice build up of liquidity for price to tap into this to continue higher. You know, so you got to look out for these things. So if price breaks here, then we can start to say, right, okay, if we get a break of this low, any retracement, we could look to comfortably trade this back into 132,800 region. Before, what should we be doing after that? We should be then switching our bias back to the top side, because overall we know we are bullish. This was our impulsive leg, this was our corrective phase. Now we should technically be seeing the 4-hour maintain itself bullish to the upside to continue pushing higher, at least until the next significant area of supply, which sits at 139, bang on 139 region. So that's, again, you know, being patient is super key. Indices are just like kind of a bit all over the place. I'm not really paying too much attention to them. Alright guys, let me know if there's any other pair you want me to have a look at. Or any questions. So you can see Euro CAD, it was a nice. So we had 4-hour swing structure. Tapped into here, 4-hour pullback was complete. We marked the low to the high. So you can see 4-hour pullback was complete here. And then all of this price action was one leg because all of this was internal until we broke. So where's the low off that? You can see this is the low point that causes this swing structure to break here and cause this high. So now I've marked my low to the high, and this is where it's super important to understand where you take your market structure from. You know, a lot of people might say, oh, this was the low that caused the high to break, blah, 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 blah. And then you're sitting there and you're marking your fib out, like, you know, so all of it is dependent on how you mark it out and how you perceive it. So we got that push into here, and then you can see, look at that rally off to the top side. And in my opinion, I was, you know, and again, I didn't cash this, but I was at least thinking we've mitigated this. So I was thinking, right, okay, if there's a sell-off on this, where's the likelihood it's going to come? You know, if we've created a higher high, higher low, we could potentially see a lower high because we've mitigated higher time frame supply and then start to roll over. Hey, Damien. And again, if I just flip down its head, mark this low to the high, you could see that area of supply that's unmitigated sits within this pullback region. So that was, you know, multiple confluences aligning for price to push up from there. So why have we pushed up from this point here? Like nearly 150 pips. A lot of the CHF pairs are just never really interested in them. Pound AUD, I'm still waiting for that to come down. So obviously I caught a sell up here. I'm waiting for it to come down into this region here for look for continuation buys. So this will probably play out in like the next week or so. We've spoken about that. Pound USD, we've spoken about that. NZD/JPY, not much happening there. Same with NZD/USD. So USD CHF could be good if we don't mitigate this area of supply before we come down into here. We could see a nice push up at least into that region. See, have we mitigated any supply on the lower time frame? No, we've not. So this could be a good. This could be a good place for looking for some buys from this region to continue higher. Because we had this 4-hour break here, and we just, you know, it's kind of been free fall after that. We've not really seen a retracement on this. Let's get S&P 500. So S&P 500 is still within that daily area of reversal. We do have this daily supply sitting at the top. Gold is pushing down a bit. We still have price sitting at the top of this. So let me just change this off. So you can see there's our daily swing low. There's our daily breaker structure to the downside. So daily breaker structure. All of this is a pullback. So looking at this on a 4 hour, so we do still have this unmitigated area of supply sitting at the top of this. So, you know, we could still see upside until we get to that point. And you can see, you know, when we had a 4 hour breaker structure here, we had a breaker structure over here, then we had another have we had a breaker structure over here? No, we've not broken above this high, but we're pretty close to. So I would personally be anticipating price to still continue higher into like 42.60, 42, between 42.60 to close to 4,300 before we really see a big shift in market structure. Now we could be coming down into this area of demand that's unmitigated for the next push up. So, you know, we have liquidity resting here. We could see something like price come into these because these are all efficient. This is the only last zone that caused the last break, which was here. So it was our last breaker structure. We had these pullbacks here, but the entire kind of move is this, and we can see there's unmitigated demand that's here. So we could see a push into this, take out liquidity, and a continuation to the top side. Because again, like I said, if we go to the left, you could see on a daily anyway, like 8 hour, we have inefficiency here. Obviously, if we refine this down from a daily to a 4 hour zone, kind of get this indecision candle sitting up at 42.80, like I said, up close to 4,300. So we could see a push back into here. Actually keep it on the daily here, just that indecision, because we've got the imbalance sitting up to there. You can see, in my opinion, there's still upside to this before we see and there's nothing really to the left that's really going to cause price much trouble. So if we get a mitigation of this zone, you know, so we're probably sweeping liquidity. So if price pulls back here, this looks quite interesting for shorts, in my opinion. Back into here, continue shorting. Because above here, I don't really see much else. You know, there's nothing really sitting here. Price filled out the last bit of inefficiency here. We have some minor inefficiency here, but this is where we had the significant shift. So we could see shorts down into this region, and then we can refine this area of demand. So you can clearly see there's the last unmitigated area of demand. We had demand down here, but we had this wick down. So we have this area now that's unmitigated. So we could sweep all of this. We push into here. We could short down into 4108. Right, guys, any other pairs, any questions? Otherwise, I'm probably going to be pretty much done. No questions, no pairs. Last call. Then I'm off. No worries at all. Yeah, go back. I've covered quite a bit on the stream anyway, so you should be able to catch up on it. And again, this week's watch list was pretty fire, if I must say so myself. Quite a lot of the pairs played out pretty nicely. Loads of intraday opportunities and stuff as well, which was good. So yeah. Anyways, have a good one, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Take care.